Hello everyone, welcome back to my craft room. Today I'm going to make a card using this lovely stamp set, and it's a sort of stamp set that you could send to anybody who's feeling a little under the weather, and this would really cheer them up. Now the image I'm going to use today is this one, and as you can see, the poor thing's stuck on his back, and I probably will use this sentiment, hope you're back on your feet soon. So let me just, I've already loaded this onto a block, but I haven't done this one yet, so let me just get a little block to put that on. So if I can just find it, so it's that one there. So I'm going to need, yeah, that'll fit nicely. So I'm just going to make sure I get it as straight as I can. It's not always easy to get it, bang on. So I'll put it on my grid paper. Oops, sticking, because this is a cling stamp, so it's sticky. And then I just take my block, line that up, put it down, and that's fairly straight. That'll do. So let's get on. Now the card I'm going to make today is a little bit different to just a normal card. It starts with an A6 base, but then it just goes a little bit wild, if you like. We're going to make a flip-flap card. So this is the piece that I need to put a slit in, and to do that I'm going to use the classic label punch. So what I need to do is I need to put this on here, and I'm pushing it as far as it can go, can you see? And now I'm getting that lined up so the top and the bottom are as equal as I can get them. So, okay, that's going to sit on there like so. Now, oh, I seem to have got a rough edge on my card. I've just changed the blade on my cutter, and I did it before I'd cut that piece out. So now the mechanism for the card is this piece. This measures 6.5 by 2 inches, and I've scored it at 2 and 2.5. Now I did write these measurements down somewhere so I say the right thing, and I seem to have put it down somewhere. Just bear with me a moment. Yes, that's right, this measures 2 inches by 6.5. And let me just show you how this goes. This goes in here, like so, and that 2-inch strip just fits nicely. And then that's going to come along here. And I'm not worried about this jaggedy edge here a bit, because I'm going to punch that end out. In fact, I'll do that before I go much further. So I'm going to use the delightful tag topper punch, and that, because it's 2 inches, will fit in there nicely. Excuse me. Right, so that's going to go on there, and then that's going to feed through here. So, right, let's do some stamping before we go any further. So my image that I'm going to use is this lovely turtle, and I'm going to stamp him on a piece of Whisper White. Let me bring in a scrap of paper. I'm going to excuse me. I'm going to stamp him in soft suede. Lovely, look at that lovely image, isn't that nice? Right, I might need that again in a moment for my sentiment. Let me clean the stamp because I want that to be really dry. This is a chamois and it's, I don't know what it's made of, it's like a foam, but it cleans the stamps and you don't have to put any chemicals or anything on there. Which is lovely. Now I'm going to apply a little bit of colour to my stamp, so I'm going to use blends. Now I've got crumb cake one here. This is a light crumb cake. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the little hard end. Ooh. And can you see this stamp has got some shadows already on it? So I'm going to just go round over those, where there's some of those little shadowy lines. Like so. Somebody's shell. Go. Put some on his feet, I think. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn to the other end, which is a softer tip, and I'm just going to go over that again in the same colour. And just to give his legs a little sort of 3D effect, I'm leaving a bit of white. And I'll do the same with some of his shell as well. Leave some, just little bits of white. Just kind of gives it a bit of dimensional. Well, just a bit of foot there. There we go. Add a little bit there to the ground. Good, I think that's enough. So that will go on top of our card. Now, obviously I need to put something on top of this mechanism. I can't just put the circle on there, it wouldn't cover it up enough. So this is a piece of cardstock that measures 3 by 3, and I've done that so that I can put my image on here. Then I'm going to use a piece of designer series paper, and this is from the Magnolia Lane suite, and it goes beautifully with this pink. And then he can sit on there. I'm going to turn that round a bit actually. Don't think it makes any difference, but no, it doesn't make any difference, but there we go. Let's put this together. So I'm going to use some snail to put my designer series paper onto my square. Now you will have seen me do this before if you've been watching my videos. I don't just put glue all over, I just put it on one edge, because then I've got a bit, I can hold it without getting glue all over my fingers. Then I'm going to come in here, put some glue on here, and push that down, and that's on there nicely. Good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put him on, but I'm going to leave him until I've got my mechanism worked out. So excuse me. Right, so this is going to go here. Now what I need to do is I need to put some tearing tape. I'm going to use tearing tape for this. I just find it easier. So let me bring some tearing tape out of the drawer. There we go. So let's put a piece of tearing tape on here. Get a pair of scissors that are not. I tend not to use my snips for cutting anything with glue on because I don't want them to get all gluey. Right, so I'm just going to sit there like that. I'm just trying to work out where my flap's going to go. I'll make sure it's straight. So this is going to go here. Now I need to bring that over just a bit because that's got to go on there. In fact, let's put some glue on there first. So we'll do some tearing tape and we'll put some tearing tape on here like so. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a tickle on my throat. So if I put that on there like that, that's how that's going to sit, like so. Then I can work out where this needs to go. Can you see? In fact, I'm going to stick that on there. Right, so now this is going to go right up to this edge. It mustn't go over the edge, otherwise it will interfere with the mechanism. So what I tend to do is I stick my finger there and then I line it up with my finger. Like so. Okay. Right, now I can line this up. Now I know that that piece of card, where that piece of card needs to be stuck down, and there's plenty of room here, can you see, between that line and that line, so that's not going to get caught up with the mechanism. So let's fold that. Oh, I haven't put that on very straight, have I? Never mind. Okay, there we go. So that's stuck down. So, yay, look at that. Hee hee, good. And that's going to sit on there. Right, I'll be back in a minute. Hello, I'm back again. I'm sorry about that. Somebody came to the door. Right, so we've done our front flap. Now we need to do our inside flap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the message on here. So I've done a little piece of cardstock that matches the same as we've used throughout here. And this measures 2.5 by 2.5. And you see that's going to line up there, and again you've got to be very careful not to go over that edge. And let's just make sure that that's not going to, yes, you see that's going to cover that up, so it's just about right size. Okay, let me, so right, what did I do with my tearing tape? Right, so tearing tape's going to go on here. right up to that edge. You can see why tearing tape is much better for this than liquid glue, because it could ooze over the edge and your mechanism would get all glued up. Right, so that's going to go on there, and I'm lining that up like so. Right, let's just have a little go of our flap, 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 flap. Yeah, that closes okay. Good, good, excellent. Right, I do find when you're making one of these that it takes a little while for the flippy flappy bit to get into the groove and know what it's supposed to be doing, but that's fine now. So okay, so we're okay here, that's done. So let's decorate the inside bit, and I'm going to keep this quite simple actually. All I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some Whisper White, and I'm going to punch it out. So I wonder if that's big enough. I want to punch it out using the Timeless Label Punch. Yeah, I think that'll be big enough. But I'll use the soft suede again. Like so. Good, lovely. Don't think I need that, but I'll shut it up. And it's such a dark colour, I'm likely to stick my finger right in it. Then punch this out. There we go. So this, oops, that's a wrong bit of card. This needs to go on here, like so. Now, do you think that needs some designer series paper on it? This piece here, let's have a look. Why not? So I'm going to just bring in my trimmer and cut that designer series paper. So I cut that square at 2.5 by 2.5. So I'm going to cut this at 2.25 by 2.25. Go. And that will sit on there. And then my label will sit on there. Yeah, that's nice. Right, let's put some snail on here. Turn it over. It's a bit awkward because it's got a lot going on there, but there we go, we'll manage it. Okay, that's in place, lovely. Then this I'm going to put on with some liquid glue. Now, I can't use any dimensionals on this bit because it would get in the way, so I'm going to put a very little bead, can you see, of glue. So, that look level. Try not to get my head in the way. Yeah, that's better. That's okay. Good. Okay, so that's going to go over there. Now we can put our turtle in place. Here we go. Now our turtle's going to sit on there, like so. So I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use dimensionals. I'm just thinking, do I need to put some cardstock behind that? Just to pop it out a bit. Bear with me a moment while I get some soft suede cardstock. And I think what I need to do is I'm going to punch out 2 circles, and this is the same size. This is 2¼ inches. 2¼ inches, so 2 of those. Then I'm going to put that, make sure that's at the bottom, like so, and that makes it look like it's a bit of a shadow. And I'll do the same at the top, I think. Yeah, I think that would be okay. Just shows him up a bit more, doesn't it? So let's put some on the back of here first. The bottom. Now, because I've gone on to a thicker cardstock, I'm going to go to my snail now. Now I'm going to see if I can get that shadow at the top, like so. As you can see, there was a bit of wriggle room there, so that's good. Yeah, I like that. Very nice. That shows him up more, doesn't it? Now we'll put, I think I'm going to let that dry a minute, because now what I need to do is I need to put this on my base card. So this is going to go on here, like so. Alright. Now, I made one of these the other day, and I'm just looking around to see if I can find it, because I can't remember whether I put this up on dimensionals or whether I put it onto, whether I kept it flat. Bear with me just a minute while I find it. Okay, I found it, and I used tearing tape. So I'm going to put tearing tape down these edges here. I'm not going to put anything very close to this mechanism, because I do not want it to stop itself from working. So here we go. Let's get that out of the way for a minute. So tear and tape down this edge here. And then tear and tape down here. Just going to put a tiny little bit there. we're ready to put our card together. So making sure I've got my fold on the right side. This is going to go on here. Excuse me. So here we go. Now I'm not pulling these off entirely, I'm just pulling them off and just peeling them back. Can you see? Then that gives me a bit of more wriggle room than I would have, because once something with tearing tape is stuck on, that's it, you cannot move it. Yeah. There we go. Right, so then holding it in place, you can peel off those bits of tearing tape and make sure it's stuck down. Okay, we're getting close to crunch time now. This will find out whether I've put the tearing tape in the right place. So here we go. You're keeping your fingers crossed. Yay! It works! Excellent! So now I can put my little turtle on the front. Let's get rid of those bits. So where's my turtle gone? Oh, there he is. And I'm going to put him on some dimensionals because I can. There we go. Now I'm doing Stamp and Sip very soon, and by the time you see this video I will have made this card, or the ladies that come along will have made this card. So when I do the blog post, I'll post some pictures of how they got on with it, and this will be the first time that they've made one of these in a class, so it'll be interesting to see how they get on. There we go. There's our turtle. So I've got a lovely card there, look, and it's a flip-flap card. Brilliant. And there's still plenty of room in there to write a message, isn't there? So do you think I need something on here, some pearls or something? I think so. Let me just get some. Oh. Pulling out my supplies. Sure, I've got, here's some pearls. That's what I was looking for. I've got a whole supply of them in my little storage containers over there, so I can pull them out whenever I want. Whoops. Right. So I'm using my sticky end of my pick you up tool. I've just realised it's gone very dark. I hope you've been able to see this all right. There's a funny shadow this side, isn't there? Okay, so I know what I'll do. I'll put one of these in each corner. These are little pearls. One in each corner. Move that over a bit. So. Then I'll put one in each corner of this bit. Do you think that was okay? I do. Finishes it off nicely. So there we go. There's our card. And let me bring in the stamp set again, if I can find where I put it. I've put it somewhere safe. Here it is, here. So here's the stamp set, here's the card that we've made, and that's the image. So thank you very much for watching. I will do a blog post and I'll give you all the measurements that you would need if you would like to make a card like this. Down below I will put a list of the supplies I've used and a link to that blog post. If you'd like to see more of my videos, please click subscribe and then you'll be notified when I make them. And I do hope you like this video, and if you do, please click like. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.